I am a lesson kid with FEI Dreams, and today I thought we'd do a little bit of goal setting in light of the new year coming up. So let's get right into it. I actually attended a online horse riding clinic today I actually have all my notes back here. It was hosted by performance riders, and it had Boyd Moten, Brett Peru, I think I'm gonna butcher that last name, Peter Wald, and then Lillian Herdwood, I believe is what their names are. And I actually took a bunch of notes, and a big thing they were saying was planning and goal setting was definitely a big focus. So I thought today we would just do a little video on how I'm planning and my goals for 2026. First off, I will grab a notebook if you want to follow along. I have goal setting just written on the top as a title, and this is going to be kind of my notebook for 2026 and just all of my goals for the upcoming season. Okay, so first off, one thing that they were saying was to make a big goal and then backtrack from the big goal with how you're gonna get there. So I am gonna think of a big goal for me and put that up here. So as I'm thinking of a goal, I also have learned from school that your goals should be measurable. Saying oh, have a stronger position, that is a good goal, but it's not very measurable. So instead saying having my lower legs still over the jumps, or just being more specific like that. So as I'm thinking of a goal, I'm definitely considering that bit too. I obviously I have other goals. One of my big goals is getting my own horse, but I feel like I'm gonna choose a different goal just because that is a goal where it's measurable, but also not measurable in the upcoming months, just because that is a lot of money and less of my improvement. So I think for my big goal, is going to be to confidently jump 3-foot courses by the summer. And I'm gonna call the summer July. Okay, so I've gone ahead and wrote that right at the top, and I'm also gonna make a second goal for YouTube. So if you hear clattering or get bumped around a little bit, my dog is currently wandering around my room. But I'm gonna also make a separate goal with YouTube related, because I do want to focus a lot more on YouTube in 2026. And I am hoping to get my channel pushed out a little bit more and get a bit more of a community built. So I am gonna put to get 1,000 subscribers by March as my YouTube goal. Okay, so I've written both of those up top, and I apologize for my handwriting being just a touch messy. But then the next thing that we're gonna do is kind of go back and think about how are you gonna get to that goal. So for me, I'm gonna start with the confidently jumping 3-foot courses by July. And I think a big part of that is I have been meaning to start working out outside of riding. And I just keep putting it off, being oh, I'm too tired, I didn't get a good sleep, oh, I'm busy with school, etc. And so I think I'm going to put down as one way I'm going to get there is start working out. So I'm just going to draw kind of a little carrot to the side saying work out outside of riding. And then I'm also going to add another little carrot out to this other side, because something else I learned in the little online clinic thing today was that when you're riding, what kind of sets apart the pro riders, if you will, versus the almost pros, I want to say, the people who made it and the people who didn't made it, is how diligently you plan each ride and riding with intent instead of riding just, oh, let me hop on and I'll try over the jumps, but on the flat, for example, I'm just gonna do my usual warm-up. But instead, I want to focus on being a bit more focused and intentful on what I'm doing. So instead of just posting the trot, I want to focus on how I'm posting, how high I'm posting, why I'm posting that way, could I do better, could my lower leg be more stable, etc. So I'm going to write it down to be more intentful in my writing. Okay, now that I have my 2 carrots from the top goal, I'm gonna focus on my YouTube goal as well, and I'm gonna put down for one of my carrots, I am gonna put that I want to post more consistently, because that has been a big issue for me. I think I've only put out 4 or 5 videos in 2025, and so I want to start posting more consistently, and I'm gonna try and do 2 videos a week. it's a little bit of a big jump for me because I am quite busy, but I also scroll on my phone a lot. So instead of doing that, I'm gonna start making more YouTube videos because I really enjoy it. So I'm gonna go ahead and write that down. So I have now wrote that down, and for my other carrot, I have actually been thinking that I want to make more quality videos because like looking back at a lot of my old videos, the audio wasn't good, or there was like an issue with my camera not being good, or it's just not an engaging video. One of my big issues is I say a lot. And so I'm really working on not saying that. So I'm gonna go ahead and write that down. Okay, now that I have my 2 smaller carrots for each, I'm gonna go ahead and do even more carrots with 2 more on each of these on how I'm gonna actually achieve these. Because this way my goals will seem a lot more manageable instead of like, oh, 3-foot courses confidently. That's like really difficult to do, at least like from my standpoint. As someone who's been riding for, by July of 2026, it'll be 2 years. So I think it's a pretty good goal, and I think it is definitely obtainable if I push myself to really work hard. But this way it looks like less of like a big undertaking and more of these little baby steps I'm gonna take, and then I'm gonna get to the big undertaking, if that makes sense. So for working out outside of riding, I'm gonna add 1 carrot of doing my workouts even when I don't want to. And then for the other carrot, one of the biggest reasons I will say like, oh, I'm not doing my workout today, is because I don't get enough sleep. I have such bad sleep habits because I really struggle with anxiety, and nighttime can be really anxiety, like it gives me a lot of anxiety sometimes. And so I need to focus on just pushing myself to go to bed at a regular time instead of scrolling on my phone, because it really doesn't help. So I'm gonna write that down to get better sleep. Okay, so this is what my paper is starting to look like right now. And now I have my to be more intentful in my writing. And for one of my carrots, I'm gonna say focus on the little things, which is like, instead of focusing on, oh, my posting looks sloppy, I'm gonna say, oh, I'm not squeezing my core. Like I'm gonna start paying attention to like what I'm doing when I'm writing. Okay, so then for my next carrot, I'm gonna write out to actually make a goal before I get on the horse of something I want to fix on the flat. And like for a dressage lesson, 2 things I want to fix on the flat. But for a jumping lesson, 1 thing I want to work on or fix for the flat, and 1 thing I want to work on or fix over jumps. And I think that this will help. And I also might do a 3rd carrot for this one, just because I really also want to include actually paying attention to all like the things that I'm doing right and wrong when I'm watching back my riding videos, because I do video almost every lesson. Okay, it's gotten a tiny bit cramped up top, but then for this section, I have be more consistent, and one of the things I'm actually gonna add, this sounds a little funny, but it does make sense, is actually staying caught up on my schoolwork, because that's another thing, is sometimes I don't have time to film because I start scrolling on my phone. There's a common thread here, and then I'm like, oh crap, I need to do my homework, but I can't do my homework and then film a YouTube video because then I'm not gonna get enough sleep and then I can't do my workout. So I need to do my homework so I can actually get all of my goals done. So I'm gonna add down to stay on top of homework. And then the other thing I'm gonna add is I actually really struggle with like thinking of engaging YouTube videos, because I do not own my own horse and I don't really feel comfortable filming at the bone most of the time because they're not my horses, and it doesn't feel right to just like be like, oh hey guys, come with me to a lesson, and like start talking and filming at the bone when they're not my horses. And so I can't really film at the bone much, and I try and think of engaging content, but it's a real struggle for me. If you guys actually want to comment down below any videos you would like to see that I can do outside of the bone, and I would love to do that. So I'm gonna add on thinking of more engaging video ideas. So the next thing I have is make more engaging videos. And for that, I'm gonna add quality as one of my little mokes, because I like need to remember to charge my microphone, for example, or to actually turn on like some lights so that there's better lighting, make sure my video is recording right, etc. And then for my next little carrot of engaging videos, I'm really gonna focus on thinking, like what's helped me with this video is thinking of what I'm gonna say beforehand and coming up with a good plan for the video, instead of just hopping into the video and being like, oh, okay, so you know, this is what we're doing. You get the point. And that's something I struggle with a lot. Like if you go back and watch like my video of making horse treats, I was saying a lot, and I didn't even notice. It was just like a habit I was doing. So I'm really gonna work on that too. So this is what my sheet has ended off with. I think I'm gonna make this a mini series where once a month I will be recording a new video to kind of just do a little update on where I'm at with my goals, if I've made any of them, or what is going on with all of that. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Drop a horse emoji down below if you've made it this far, and I really hope you would subscribe to come along for the ride. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!